Shalom, friends, and welcome to Walking the Ancient Path, where we journey back into the language, landscape, and life rhythms of the Scriptures in a lighter, more accessible way, exploring the world of the Bible as its original listeners would have experienced it.
Today we'll pick up our exploration of the book of Galatians verse by verse and unpack each passage within the context of organic ancient Hebrew thought, formatted like a living Hebrew commentary.
Let's pick up where we left off in Galatians chapter 5.
Verse 25. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit.
If we live by the Ruach, let us also keep in step with the Ruach.
If we live by the Spirit, our very breath and life come from Yahweh's Ruach, the wind of His sky kingdom rule filling our lungs, the fire on the altar sustaining the camp. Let us also walk. Life in the Ruach is not abstract but lived out in conduct, footprints on the covenant trail, each step aligned with the shepherd's path. Walk in the Spirit. The word suggests marching in line, moving with rhythm, the clan moving together behind the elder's staff, not breaking rank or wandering off the path. It is inconsistent to claim life by the Ruach yet walk by fleshly desires. True sons and daughters live their daily rhythms in sync with the Ruach's leading.
Verse 26. Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another.
Let us not become boastful, stirring one another up, or envying one another.
Desirous of vain glory. Pursuing empty honor, a man puffing up his chest near the fire, bragging about shadows that disappear with the dawn. Provoking one another, fueling rivalry, clan brothers constantly poking, daring, or challenging each other, breaking peace in the camp. Envying one another, resentment towards someone else's blessing, eyes darkened because a neighbor's field produces more fruit. A Ruach-filled community must guard against pride, rivalry, and envy. These are poisons of the flesh that tear the body apart, the very opposite of the Ruach's fruit.
Well, that's a wrap for Galatians 5. Would you mind providing a recap that captures the rhythm of the book of Galatians thus far, Hope?
In the cadence of the Textus Receptus, Paul's letter to the Galatians is a passionate defense of the good news of freedom in Messiah Yeshua. Some are persuading believers to go back to Torah's yoke, circumcision, calendar observances, and reliance on human effort, as if these were the path to righteousness. Paul speaks urgently, like a father protecting his children, warning them not to trade freedom for slavery. Paul defends his calling in chapters 1 and 2, as well as the gospel he received, not from men, but from Yeshua himself. He recalls how he confronted even Peter when his actions threatened the truth of freedom. The foundation he shares is people are made right through trust in the Messiah, not by works of Torah. Paul draws from Abraham's story in chapters 3 and 4. The promise came before Torah, and it is through trust, like Abraham, that we are considered in right relationship with Yahweh. Torah was a guardian for a time, but now the inheritance has arrived through Messiah. Using imagery of sons and slaves, he emphasizes, we are heirs, adopted into the Father's household, filled with His Ruach, not bound by law. And see how Paul demonstrates freedom in daily life in chapters 5, and will continue to do so in chapter 6. Freedom is not license to indulge the flesh, but power to walk in the breath of Yahweh. The fruit of the Ruach grows naturally from those rooted in the Messiah. He closes with practical exhortations. Bear one another's burdens, sow to the Ruach, and walk in the new creation.
Speaking of the Textus Receptus, Deacon, can you explain why we are using it to reference each verse and why it's helpful?
Translating directly from the Textus Receptus, TR, can certainly help by removing layers of later translation and engaging the Greek text more directly, preserving some of the author's original imagery and intent. However, the TR itself was compiled from a limited set of late manuscripts, so while it reflects the faith and text tradition of the Reformation era, it does not always represent the earliest or most original readings. For the most precise understanding of Scripture as its original hearers would have grasped it, the TR is a valuable tool, but it is best used in conjunction with other manuscript traditions, the Hebrew thought world behind the Greek, and the cultural context of the text. Together, this helps strip away later philosophical or theological overlays and bring the words back into their ancient, concrete context. The most common texts used in the New Testament of the English Bible today are the Textus Receptus and the critical text, such as the Nestle Aland's UBS editions. Both are very similar overall and agree in about 95% or more of the text. Most of the differences are minor, related to word order, spelling, and synonyms. For centuries, the TR was the standard text in the West, shaping Protestant translations and doctrine. The Galatian letter is remarkably stable between TR and CT. Key doctrinal themes, faith, spirit, freedom, Messiah's work, are preserved in both, but TR gives a bit more Christ-centered expansion.
We'll pause here and continue in our next episode.
If you listeners have areas of interest you'd like to explore further, questions or comments, please don't hesitate to let us know.